Good morning. We are live.
We're live.
All right,
for us.
Live for us, exactly. Like we could do it any other way.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm alive. Let's just put it there. I'm alive.
I'm alive.
All
Well, I'm
right.
just going to kick us into our raw and uncut version. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the SellOut Show, where we are always sold out. I am Dianna Guerin. I am the irreverent sales girl, where my mission is to bring a dash of dignity to the art of selling.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Shawn Sandy. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of the Selling Agency, where we coach humans how to sell to other humans. Because if you're selling like someone who doesn't know where they're going and doesn't know anything about the party they're showing up to, it's like arriving naked.
Whoa!
Exposed. Naked and exposed. Or without pants. Pick one of those things if you don't prepare.
Which is exactly right. That's exactly how you should feel if you show up to a call or a meeting unprepared. So let's talk a little bit about our subject today. What is our topic today, Ms. Shawn Sandy?
Pre-call planning.
Pre-call planning.
Do you do it? Do you do enough of it? What's too much? Like what are your thoughts around pre-call planning, Dianna? I mean, I know you do it, but I'm asking our audience.
Yeah, audience. What do you do for pre-call planning? Mm-hmm. I know that Mr. Fabulous Barry is going to respond to us about pre-call planning. So thank you very much in advance, Barry. Anne Marie, if you're watching, we love your comments too. So I think that there are some very specific things that you can do to create really great calls. And I think that it doesn't have to take that much, but I do think it's incredibly important. So that's the philosophical answer. But I really believe that if you come in with, the 3 or 4 questions that you think they're going to want to have answered about your product. Do you know what I mean? Like the 3 or 4 questions, like you have to think from their perspective. What is it that this person is going to want to hear? And some of it you have to look at like their persona. Some of it you have to kind of look at what's their social media. Almost everybody has digital presence now. Mm-hmm. But I really like to think through, okay, this is the vice president of sales. The vice president of sales is on the line for forecasting revenue and coaching their sales reps. That's their whole thing, is they live and die by forecastable revenue. So given that, what are the things they're going to want to talk to me about today? And what's going on in their life? Are they crushing their numbers for first quarter? Are they having trouble with reps that they need to let go? Like just kind of thinking through what questions they might have for me based on what they might be going through.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Oh gosh, I cannot say enough about pre-call planning. And, let's not do analysis by paralysis. It's not, we need to find their shoe size, their last known address, or, who they're married to, that kind of stuff. I mean, it helps to have, I think, maybe I try to look for 3 things I know about somebody on LinkedIn, to be able to reference some personal stuff. Where have they worked before? Do we have anyone in common? Or what nonprofit do they support? What community events do they participate in? Where do they go to school? Like pick 3 things. That way you can sort of pepper that in the conversation. But I think I have a whole worksheet that you have to think through, write the answers to before you get on that phone. And so you answer the first question, like what is important to them? What is their currency? What is their what's their butt on the line for? What's their risk? What are their KPIs and PBOs, all those positive business outcomes, key performance indicators. So knowing that, and then know why you are calling.
What?
Yes. Tell me upfront, I am calling you because, and it's not because I want to sell you something. I am calling you because I've worked with ABC. I solved this problem, and I believe that you may have some similar problems. Like, tell me upfront why you are calling. You have to have that in every single message, whether it's phone or email. I am calling you because that's what I want to know.
No, I think that's really important. One thing that I also used to do right before a meeting, when I was going to meet somebody in person, and I do it all the time before a call too, is I would take a little piece of paper, usually like a 3x5 card, and just write down the 3 things that I wanted to have happen in that meeting. Right. I wanted the person to say, wow, I never thought of it like this before. I'd really like to try this. Or, I really like the way things are going and I'd like to continue. Whatever the 3 things are that I really want them to say
Right.
or that I want the outcome of the meeting. It's surprising when you're driving to an intention, when you're putting an intention for a result out there. So I would do that in the car, or I just do it, on my desk. But I love your pre-call planning worksheet, and I think that we're including that as part of the curriculum for our Solid 6 Blueprint Mastermind, right? So the people who are in the mastermind get to actually use that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's and a couple of the other things on that are like, if you're thinking about the person you're calling, what is their position? What's their stakeholder position? Are they the VP? Are they the CEO? What's their currency? What are they on the line for? And then think about their day. Think about, well, what could I be interrupting? This is a great place to build PEC, personal emotional connections. What could I be interrupting? Hey, Dianna, I know, as a VP of human resources, you've got like 8,000 policy changes on your desk. But if you have just a second, I'm calling because, it's a great opportunity to be able to connect with somebody when you think about what you could be interrupting or what their day is like. That's a huge part of it. If someone, you have to know my business. I got a call yesterday from a janitorial cleaning service wanting to clean my office. Well, now I do have a separate office, but it's a virtual office or also office within offices, and it just makes no sense. So if they'd done just a tiny little bit of research, they would have not wasted their time. They most likely bought a list from a chamber or something like that. So it's just a lack of, they're just throwing darts against the wall, right?
They are
sticks. So I would never take that call. I would never return that call because I know that you've not even taken a breath of time to investigate me. And if you don't have time to do that, then I don't have time to talk to you. Not even not do business with you. If you don't have time to investigate me, I don't have time to talk to you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, well, I just got so distracted because I just heard the dogs barking and somebody came in my house and I'm not expecting anybody. Can you pause the recording for just one moment, please?
I can. I will have the La Policia on speed dial. Okay.
Well, I think that's really funny. I mean, here's what's not funny, Shawn, is that the more that people do those kinds of behaviors where they call on people that do not need office cleaning, which clearly your office looks great and you have a very small office. You don't need an office cleaner. But the more that people call on people that they shouldn't be calling on, the more the walls go up, and it makes it harder and harder and harder to have a really great sales conversation with people who actually do need and want your services. So knock it off. Don't do that.
It really does. And here's it's like you said, it's like the butterfly effect, like the tree that falls in the woods. Does it really fall in the woods? I don't know how that relates to butterflies, but I think they call it the butterfly effect, right?
It does.
So, okay. Maybe you and Tom can explain.
It flaps its wings in India and then an earthquake happens in Alaska. Something like that. I don't know.
Okay. We'll figure that one out later. But so the woman who called me and left me a message about if I need janitorial cleaning services, I have a home office. I have a virtual office. I have offices in all my clients' offices. Here's the thing. Had she done a better job of saying, I'm not sure if you have an office. I couldn't see that on your website. I see you're housed in this building. I might have taken the call or responded to her and say, no, I don't, but my clients do. Here's XYZ. You know what I mean? She left an impression and I could have helped her. I could have been a resource or a contact to her, but because she did it poorly, I'm not going to call her back. And don't get me started about the people who call and ask for Mr. Sandy.
Oh, because going and visiting your LinkedIn profile, there's no doubt in the world that you are not a Mr.
Sandy.
Mr. Sandy. But there are dangers. There are dangers to pre-call planning. So I wanted to hit on a couple of those. So the first one is
dangerous.
What?
Tell me how it's dangerous.
Well, so you always post this on Facebook, the 4 promises, the 4 agreements.
Yes.
One of them is never make assumptions. And one of the biggest problems with doing your pre-call planning is that if you come into a sales conversation with an assumption about what's going on with somebody, as opposed to just a little bit of context about them, like, oh, well, I see that you're bloody blah. Oh, my favorite one is that thing that you're talking about, who you're connected to. Beware, because just because they accepted an invitation from somebody, they may think that that guy's the biggest douche on the planet. And if you're like, oh, we both know douchey douche, then they'll be like, oh, well, this is an unfortunate connection we just made, because they'll start to associate you with people. So I'm very careful about, kind of leveraging that LinkedIn connection. Or they're just like, or they say, you know what, I have no idea. Let me just go look. Oh, I have now your sales call is down a road that doesn't matter. You didn't want to be there.
Right.
So use it to be connected, but not assumptive.
No, if you're going to use a person as a referral source, you better vet that. You better vet that. That's a t-shirt. You better vet that. Because you're connecting, and if you're using the name and mojo and juju of this person, you're carrying all their baggage with them. So you better vet that really well. Now, here's the thing about assumptions too. What I like to do is, you have to make some assumptions in order to about their position, about maybe their day, about their role, their business, that kind of stuff. But you can back that up by asking questions that validate them, or that validate or disqualify your assumptions. And I appreciate that. For instance, if the lady with the janitorial cleaning service had said, been to your website and this is the address I saw, we have other clients in that building. Does it make sense for us to have a conversation? Right. I could have said, well, actually, I'm part of a larger office system there and they take care of that, but I know several other people that need that. So she could have validated that in a way where, she showed she did a research, she did make an assumption, but then she asked me if that made, sense to me. So you're fully capable of doing that. Don't assume you know everything, but then, ask some questions that give your customer a chance to disqualify or validate that.
Well, I have a really one that's working so well for me, because we always talk about things that worked yesterday. But one of my clients that I sell for, I was talking to this guy and I said, I noticed that your company's been in business since 1888. So first of all, you get the prize for having the company that's been in business longest of the people I've talked to. But mostly I find that in a company like that with a mature industry, the companies that we help in other mature industries that have been in business for a long time are experiencing this right now. And this is kind of how we're helping with that. Is that what you're dealing with in your business right now?
Oh, and I love that.
I know, because it does a couple things. If it's not what they're dealing with, they'll be like, well, actually, no, we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with this. And they're happy to tell you. Or they're like, oh my God, you read my mind. So either way, it shows that you actually put some thought into talking to them. It shows that you actually think about what the issues and problems are for a company that might be similar. It shows that you work with other similar companies. So it establishes credibility and trust. And then it just gives the opportunity to open the doors, and then you sit back and you listen.
Yeah. I think it's so important that you get this right, folks. It is so important that you get the right balance of pre-call planning, knowing who you're calling. I've ranted about this before, where I'm going to download a white paper, or I want to see a demo of some online software application or something, and they ask you for your name, your address, or your email address, your phone number, and your company, the title, and the number of employees you have. That's not uncommon for demos and for case studies, right? All that information. And then within an hour, I get a phone call from someone, and
they ask you all those questions.
Yes, or they haven't even been to the website. I just served you up my firstborn child, and you're calling me wanting to know, to repeat myself. That pisses me off. Like, that really makes me hot. That is some crappy sales enablement, or lack thereof.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible. If you're asking for the information up front, have access to it.
Yeah, it's like, do you ever I say technology is there to help you, but if you are making people duplicate their efforts, that is mind-numbing. Like going to the doctor's office and they want you to fill out forms online first, and then you come in and they've got more forms you fill out and it's the same information. I want to peel my eyelids back and just scream or something. It pisses me off so bad.
All right, so let's summarize. Let's summarize some do's and some don'ts about pre-call planning. So do
know what's important to them, know how they're measured, what their success is about, what they're up against. Like, do know the position of the person you're calling and what's important to them.
Yeah. Do have some questions that you think that they might want to have answered from their perspective.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Know why you are calling.
Yeah.
I'm calling because I'm reaching out because I'm emailing because, and it's not about you. It's not about, I want to close the sale. I'm calling because, and then you've got some context proof. I work with ABC to solve XYZ. And in our experience, you may be experiencing this too. Like, know why you're calling, have that reason ready to go, and then you can validate it or disqualify it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Don't make assumptions about what that person is dealing with or how they feel about the people that you're mutually connected to on LinkedIn. Don't make assumptions.
Yeah, don't bring someone else's baggage on the airplane. You got to vet them.
Don't bring somebody else. You got to vet this, Mama Jamba.
Yeah. And then also, lastly, know what you could be interrupting. That's a great place to make a personal emotional connection. PEC. Remember that Zappos does it really well. They always make personal emotional connections whenever people get on their line, the customer service department.
Wow.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, Dianna, I see you're calling Porter, Indiana. Is that near Chicago?
Very good. Yes, it is.
Oh, I just tell people, like, where you are.
It's fine. Come visit. We live in the Indiana Dunes.
Yeah. So immediately you have something to talk about, right? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So you like your house is right by the lake, So you give people something to talk about. Personal emotional connection.
Brilliant. All right. So write a 3x5 card of the outcomes. This is the bonus opportunity, is to write what you want. Why is my camera doing that?
I don't know.
Oh, there. Now I'm light again. Oh my God. I'm going to kill this camera. This is getting worse. Okay. Anyway, whatever. This is the raw and uncut version. Write a 3x5 card with what are the 3 things that you want to have happen in that meeting, that you want to hear, you want them to say, or you want them to do.
Yes. Yeah. And then also down below, tell us in the comments, what's something else you do to prepare or do pre-call planning? I would love to know. I think that the more we share this information and the more we drive it home that this is what good selling looks like, the more people will take your calls, the more people will not just shut you down. So we have to blaze the trail for everybody. Come on, people. We can do this. We can do this. All right. Okay.
All right. I'll kick us out by saying, stop hoping
and start selling.
That's right. Bye.